Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Welcome to Morning Tailgate here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Crispy Bacon here with James Gonzalez. How you doing today?
I'm good. Just waking up here on the West Coast, the left coast. You know, we had some games already, so we'll preview those. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone. Happy holidays, and also, check out the helmet tree here. Got that ready going. Power rankings, but with the tree. That's all going down here. Happy holidays to anybody who celebrates anything, or even if you don't celebrate anything. It's always a good time to hang out with people. And today there's football on, and we have a scenario. We have so many scenarios too that will go on, of course, the next couple of weeks. We'll get into all of them today, I think.
We will, and happy holidays to everyone. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I was going to say happy holidays to everybody. The NFL unwrapped some gifts for us this past Thursday. We had the Saints and Rams. Rams kind of, dominated that game, but Saints quickly got up. What do you think of that game?
Well, you mentioned hopefully NFL unwraps us gifts. Well, hopefully it unwraps, some rightness in a way. Like, hey, this team is supposed to win by this much. Hopefully some normalcy would be nice. Anyway, with the Rams and the Saints in LA or Inglewood on Thursday, man, you got to give credit to the LA Rams. Being out of it early in the season, and now they're the second wild card spot with this 30-22 win. Matthew Stafford, he continues to put up great numbers. I mean, look, I thought he was done. He had the spinal injury, he had the shoulder injury. All these years, he's been playing, and I figured last year or this year would be his last year, and he wouldn't play as much. But, when he did not, he declined to defer some money in his contract, you knew, okay, if he plays, he's got to be worth it. And he's certainly showing it. He's had a great season. And Puka Nacua, I read that he needs 174 yards to surpass the rookie record. Think about that. That's 98 Randy Moss. Whatever Jerry Rice's rookie record was. That's pretty elite stuff. That's really awesome to see. Kyron Williams had a great game, over 100 yards. He had a touchdown, and Puka Nacua had a touchdown. It was really domination after a while. I mean, it was 30-7 going into the fourth quarter. Saints try to make a comeback. Derek Carr led a little comeback, but again, they needed 2 scores to try to make New Orleans get back in the game. I know that from being a Raider fan, that Derek Carr would try at the end, but not the first 3 quarters, basically. You kind of knew the Rams had the game. They made some key stops. They have a bunch of young guys out there making stops. They've actually, without having a first round pick, making all these trades for players, they've actually hit on their second round picks, their third round picks. It's really awesome to see what Les Snead has done as GM with the Rams. I mean, everybody thought, oh, they're doomed for years. Well, I don't think. Oh, I think they get a first round pick in 2028. So they still have some years to go. But man, if they keep hitting on these second rounders and third rounders and later in the drafts, that's really good work by your scouting department. That's really good stuff. So credit to the Rams. Again, they're 8-7. They're right there in the wild card. It's really awesome to see.
It is, and unfortunately for New Orleans, they had to win this game. They basically had to win out to make the playoffs. I think there is one way, even though they didn't win. But it's also kind of the same situation for the Rams. They have to win out to make the playoffs. They're one step closer to that with this victory. So we'll have to see how it goes if they continue to win, or at some point they'll just be, knocked off the map here. And then yesterday you had the first of a doubleheader. Bengals and the Steelers. What did you think of that game?
Well, Rudolph came just in time for the holiday season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 touchdowns. They were long ones to, well, I'll tell you what, Pickens made it long ones. The first throw I saw, the first touchdown just now, I was at work, so I didn't see the game, but the throw to Pickens, the first one was like a little slant over the middle, and then Pickens did it himself. You could say, hey, the Bengals, they were missing some key players defensively. That really hurt in the secondary, like Taylor Britt. He's their best quarter, and he was out. But, man, the way that Pickens took it upfield for the touchdown was awesome. That was, 86 yards. And remember, he was getting killed for not blocking twice, the last couple of weeks. And I think he made up for that. And he also had a fade down the middle for a touchdown. I think it was a 66-yarder. So it's funny to think Mason Rudolph, who's been in the system for a while, he can make these simple throws like Kenny Pickett could, but Mitch Trubisky cannot. This has to be the end of Mitchell Trubisky, you would think. So it was great to see Mason Rudolph have a comeback. I know they were chanting his name at Acrisure Stadium. I want to say Heinz Field. But it was a good win for the Steelers, 34-11. I mean, look, Browning still put up some good numbers, but he had 3 picks, 1 touchdown. Najee Harris got in for a touchdown as well. But Steelers, those players, I think Tomlin probably gave a good speech. Like, don't let me get fired. Don't let me get embarrassed like this. I think that it finally resonated to those Steeler player heads. Is like, we're laying our coach down, and he fights for us every week, it seems like. Maybe they get in, but with this win, it helps. I really, when the Steelers are good, it's good for the NFL. And I know there was some rumors about Tomlin getting in the hot seat. I think you can throw those away whenever you beat a divisional opponent. So I think this really helped Tomlin secure his job.
Yeah, it does help. Pittsburgh winning. On Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, they needed to win out, kind of like the Rams are one step closer. I'm starting to hear rumors. I saw it last night. I just heard it, or saw it a minute or 2 ago, that there's interest in teams trading for Tomlin.
Oh my God!
I know. So this job's not necessarily safe, but I don't think they're going to let him go either. I think if he leaves, it's in a trade.
You would think Belichick would do the same thing.
I did hear that too. That a team that's in the playoffs could, and they get eliminated at some point, could be.
That sounds like some inside information by Schefter.
I think so. Scheffner and maybe a couple others. I don't know, but things are not looking good in Pittsburgh if you want to go that route. But as far as their playoff chances, it is looking good so far. As far as the last game of yesterday, it's doubleheader. Bills and the Chargers. Did you get a chance to catch that game, and what's your thoughts?
When I make the bar, I know it's. Oh no, there was fourth quarter. There was about 8 minutes left. I had no idea what was going on. I was at work, and I got there. I'm like, "What the hell? It's a close game." It was 22-17, I believe, when I got there, and I just couldn't believe it because I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, 21." It was 21-16. Buffalo was leading, so I missed the parts where Josh Allen he had one touchdown but one pick, or he ended up I think with 3 touchdowns. I want to say. Uh, 2 rushing and 1 passing. So he didn't do much during the air. I think the game plan for the Chargers was taking Diggs out of it, and they did that. Uh, so that was a really good thing by the Chargers. Unfortunately, their offense couldn't really get going. Easton Stick was starting. It came down to field goals. Cameron Dicker had 4 field goals, or no, 5 field goals for the Chargers yesterday. No,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 5, James. Yeah, 5 field goals. So that kept them in the game when you think about it. They had some costly turnovers. Both teams had some costly turnovers. I think, yeah. The Bills had 3 costly turnovers. The Chargers they led the game in time of possession, forced turnovers, more yardage, everything like positive. The Chargers had in their favor, but in typical Charger fashion, they chargered and lost. Uh, so that was really unfortunate. They left too much time up for Josh Allen to drive down. Despite the James Cook fumble, they got the ball back, and Tyler Bass had an easy 29-yard field goal to win it, 24-22. You just knew without Justin Herbert, or even with him, the Chargers were going to somehow give this game up. This officially eliminates the Chargers, thank God, from playoff contention. Uh, and the Bills, they're right there, I believe, in one of the wild card spots. I want to say I should
Yeah,
know
they're in
that.
the second wild card position.
So when you think about it, they're almost just like the Rams, but a better record at 9-6, and they still have a shot to. Dallas has to do their part today, and then I think the Bills and Dolphins meet on in Week 18. So that should be interesting to note if that matters, because they're only a game and a half out. So that was a big win for Buffalo, and sayonara to the Chargers. We'll see what they do in the offseason. I know I had somebody say, "Oh man, they're going to get Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert's going to go off from there," but I don't know. But good win for the Bills. They had to do it the tough way and not be able to air it out as much.
Yeah, it's hard to lose games early on or at any point in the season because now now at this point of the season, your back's against the wall. You have to do a lot more work to get to the playoffs. Uh, kind of like the other teams we talked about. Bills have to win now, uh, or they have to have the Dolphins lose uh, one game in either week 16 or 17. So yeah, they kind of need the Dolphins for help, which is kind of weird for being in the AFC East, and you need one of your division rivals to help you out a little bit. Chargers are eliminated. They needed to win out as well, but they lost. So now things don't look good for the Chargers heading into an off season. As for Christmas Eve matchups, starting in your early window, the Colts and the Falcons. Falcons also need to win out, or they need Tampa to lose 2 games. Colts can make the playoffs by also winning out. Uh, Big B and Tim have their picks. Big B has the Falcons and Tim has the Colts. So, James, who do you got for this one?
You can never trust the Falcons. And Arthur Smith, we were talking about coaches on the hot seat. That's one guy. I don't care how many interviews he does on the Pat McAfee show. You could get fired too.
Ooh,
And I
Pat.
don't care how much money his brother has. What's his name? Dick Smith. I don't care if he owns FedEx. Arthur Blank will make that move. Uh, I'm looking at the Colts, and they're really banged up today, and that's what really scares me about this pick because if you look at that, they do get Jonathan Taylor, but if you remember the game against the Steelers, Zach Moss was tackled by his arm, and it was brought back. It should never been that way or backwards. So he's out with the forearm injury. Michael Pittman Jr. remember had a concussion. He's also out. So those are two big losses when you think about it for the Colts. That means other guys have to step up. Fortunately, though, the Falcons, they always play down the competition. They don't pass it around to everyone. That always seems to be a theme with the Falcons. I think the Colts are favored, by the way, in Atlanta. So you know what? I think a Matt Gay field goal wins it for him. I'm going to say the Colts win this game. I trust them in their defense. I think it's 19 straight games with a turnover forced. I'm going to go with the Colts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm going with the Colts too. I don't know. I think the Falcons are going with Heineke again at quarterback.
Yeah, they made
Where
They made a switch 4
Indianapolis
times.
has See, and I remember back in the day, Landry, Cowboys coach, and I'm sure I've heard other coaches say this too. If you got 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, you don't have 1 quarterback, and they're just going back and forth. That doesn't seem like a solid team. Now, if they make the playoffs, they're going to have to stick with one and go with that player. But they're just not a solid team. Yeah, Colts are rocking with their backup, but he's consistent. So I'm going with the Colts on that one.
That's why I wanted Atlanta to get Lamar Jackson. That would have been awesome. Like you wouldn't have to worry unless he gets hurt, but you wouldn't have to worry about okay, who your quarterback is. Like that would have been so simple to have another Mike Vick type of player there.
I was gonna say he'd be like a throwback almost.
Hell yeah.
Next you got Seahawks and Titans. Another team that needs to win out, but Tennessee's already eliminated. Big D has Tennessee and Tim has Seattle. James, who do you got for this one?
I think Geno Smith will be back. I mean, he was playing during warm-ups last Monday, or not playing, he was passing, but he couldn't move as well with a groin injury. But he's back today. I think that'll help. Despite the fact Kenneth Walker III is questionable, but he's trending towards playing. Devon Witherspoon is questionable as well. He's been out with a hip injury. He's one of their young corners, but luckily Julian Love, who made that one game-clinching interception over Philadelphia on Monday, he's been stepping up. Frank Clark is also out. Jamal Adams is out. But Jamal Adams, he left the stadium when he knew he wasn't even starting on Monday. Jamal Adams, they just have to release him. They just have to cut him, let him go. I know he has 2 more years left on the deal, but he's one of those firecrackers that you just need out of the building. You just need to get him out and let him detonate somewhere else. For Tennessee, it's odd because they're already eliminated. They should have traded Derrick Henry when they could have. Will Levis, he's showing some good glimpses here of being a starter for a while. I'm gonna go to Seattle. They're playing for more. Their defense is making some timely stops. Monday they held on to beat Philadelphia, and that's a story of itself, Philadelphia. So I'm gonna go with Seattle. I think they make some big turnovers. They get to Will Levis. As long as you can pressure him, I think you have a shot. I mean, we saw Will Levis hurt last week against Houston, so he's banged up, but he's playing. But I think Seattle scores enough. And you know what? the Titans defense, they give up some big plays. So that's when I would have Lockett and Metcalf do their thing. I would love to see that today. And then JSN, the rookie. I would love to see all three have a big play today. Just like what the Steelers did yesterday, I want to see the Seahawks do today. So I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle too. Another scenario I had was you needed the Seahawks also could have the Rams or Vikings lose a game. Besides winning out, I mean, you had the Rams win, so that's off the table. You could see the Vikings lose. I don't know. We'll get to the pick later, but that's also a scenario. Seahawks are another team that are kind of rocking with the same quarterback. They're still in the playoff race, holding on by a thread, though. I think they're going to be a more solid team with, Geno Smith back there, and maybe things can get back and moving in the playoff direction for them. Detroit and Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, uh, there's a lot riding on it for them, and so are the Lions. Who do you got for this one?
I'm gonna stay home and watch this because I get this locally, and then I'll head to work. So I can't wait for this game. The Detroit Lions on the cusp of winning their division for the first time since 1993. So there's a lot riding on this game. I want to see how many Detroit fans show up. I know Minnesota usually has a great home crowd. It's all purple and white or yellow. But I want to see how many Hawaiian blue jerseys are there that represent Detroit. So we'll see how that goes. In the crowd, I'm looking here for Minnesota. I know who's there? Who's starting? I forget the guy who came in for the Pastronaut. Yeah,
Right.
who's starting? I totally forgot.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, but Matheson is questionable. They're running back, and he's kind of been hit or miss this year. Byron Murphy, their corner is out, so look for the Lions to air it out today. I think they're playing for something. Their defense could get turnovers. I think that would be good. Yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit here. I think they get it done. They win their division for the first time since home improvement was relevant. So I'm hoping the Lions get it done. And this fan base, they need this. They've been through a lot. I mean, they had, when you think about it, in that span, they had two great players retire just out of nowhere because the organization let them down. Barry Sanders and Megatron with Calvin Johnson. They need this.
Yeah.
It's a credit to Dan Campbell, the coach. It's a credit to those players buying in, and it's a credit to Jared Goff, who threw 5 touchdowns last Saturday against Denver. It's a credit to their running game, the passing game, and defensively up front for making plays. I'm just so happy for Detroit, and I want them to continue what they're doing. I know it's not Case Keenum because he's in Houston.
Right.
So who's that quarterback starting for Minnesota? I keep forgetting.
Well, I'll look that up. One thing on that Tennessee game we talked about, Will Levis is not going to start. Running Tannehill will.
Oh, okay. So he was banged up too much.
I'm looking at the quarterback.
So definitely start or pick Seattle. Nick Mullins will start for Minnesota. There we go.
Yeah.
I thought
that. Big B. He did. Speaking of Big B, he did have the Vikings. Tim had the Lions. I also have the Lions. I would like to see Detroit make the playoffs or at least divisional title for the first time in 30 years. They deserved it. All that hard work. You brought in Dan Campbell, former player, and he just turned that team around in a good way, and
how?
they needed it. I guess we can go into like our one tough question into this topic. Is it better to have a player coach or just a straight up, like you went to college, you're a college coach or assistant?
You notice now there's more player coaches than ever. It's not like baseball where baseball you do have player coaches, but then you also have like analytical guys doing it, like San Diego had here in 2020. I think it's good to have a player coach, especially a younger one. You see what's going on in Houston. I don't think they would be doing what they've done through everything they've been through without someone like Nico Ryans, who especially played in the organization. So I think you got to have a player coach that can adapt to younger guys that even look like the younger guys too. Like they can identify with him. I'm thinking Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. If you have someone that looked like them, that played like them, that's got the same team mentality, I think you have to have it. The thing is, you have all these coordinators as well. You think Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen, who probably never played, or they are probably like a third street guys in college or high school. Those guys are good too because they have the smarts. So I guess it depends who's buying in. It depends on culture. That's a big thing. Culture. But I would say a player coach, but you have to have those coordinators that will say, hey coach, we have to do this,
Right. And you can kind of attest to that too. You have Antonio Pierce in Vegas play for the Giants and a few other teams, but he was also y'all's defensive coordinator or defensive coach somewhere in that area.
He was linebacker coach, I believe.
Okay. So I mean that helps too.
Yeah,
I think. Next game you have the Cardinals and the Jets. Both these teams are eliminated.
Or is it the Commanders?
What happened?
Is it the Commanders and Jets?
Yes.
Not that it matters.
No. Both Big B and Tim have the Jets. No Aaron Rodgers, by the way. You decided to call it a season. James, who do you got?
This is going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
You can't sell the tickets, even if you have them. Just hope that you get like a gift bag or something. If you're a Jet fan, why would you go to the game? Brian Robinson Jr. unfortunately will be out for Washington. He's got a hamstring issue. Whenever you're a fast guy, that will definitely hinder your running motion. So that's not fun at all. For the Jets, no Zach Wilson either for New York. And thank God no Zach Rogers. Aaron Rodgers. Thank God not him. He didn't need to come back. I mean, for this, he didn't need to come back at all. Why wait? Why go now when you can wait for next year when you can have everything stacked in your favor? Corey Davis is also out for the Jets as well. This feels like a field goal game if both teams can get the ball getting down there. I'm gonna go with the shoot. They can't. I want to see Jacoby Brissett start for Washington, but I think they're going back to Sam Howell, I think. But I want to see Brees Hall have a good day rushing. I know Washington, they're kind of depleted defensively. When you trade your big two guys up front, that's bound to happen. I forget who's starting for the Jets. It's not Tim Boyle because I think he went to the Chargers, I want to say. I forget who's starting for the Jets, but uh, I think Sam Howell will be back with Washington. But I think the Jets make some defensive stops, and I'm going to say the Jets win this game.
Yeah, I think the Jets will win this game too. There's not much really to go over. Uh, Aaron Rodgers, he was gonna play, but I think it was kind of all hinging on if the Jets won last week. They did not.
Even then, though, I wouldn't have done that. That's not worth it.
No, you're out. You're out for the year. Let's
Trevor
play.
Simeon. Oh God,
Yeah.
Trevor Simeon. Oh, and you had Brett Rippon just in case. No way.
Two of the worst quarterbacks, maybe.
Hell no.
I don't know. We'll move on. Packers and the Panthers. Panthers eliminated, but the Packers have a little bit to play for, but they must win out. Both Tim and Big B have the Packers. James, who do you got?
Last week we saw the Panthers win a field goal game over Atlanta with really nobody there. I mean, there was a heavy rains all game long, and it showed. I mean, there was more empty seats than people. They were all clad in that teal. Green Bay. We'll see Jordan Love break out today. I want to see him have some great throws, mix it in with the running game. There'll be a lot of Packer fans there. I can definitely guarantee that. So the crowd will be there. Savage will be out. Campbell will be out. Jazair Alexander, he's questionable. So their defense kind of takes a hit. Offensively, Watson is doubtful, so that really hurts Green Bay. Jalen Reed is also questionable. He didn't practice Friday, so that's really bad for the Green Bay Packers when it comes to the Russian or the passing game there. I'm gonna go with Green Bay, but they never make things easy. Hopefully, they get some stops. Yeah, I'll just go with Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going Green Bay too. I think Jordan Love had a little bit of a struggle in the first little bit of the season. I think now he's found momentum, and maybe that will carry him on. I don't know, but
the team has lost
right
two
now,
straight. That's bad.
Who has?
Green Bay has lost two straight. They won 3 straight, and now they've lost 2 straight. I forgot they lost at home against Tampa Bay last week.
Yeah, that was a bad loss, I think.
Very disappointing.
But I'm going Packers. Next one, you have Cleveland and the Houston Texans. Big B has Houston. Tim has Cleveland. Who you got?
This game's tough because CJ Stroud will be out. I want to say. I think they have some other key injuries too that really hurts them. Nico Collins, I believe. Yeah, it's questionable. Or no, he's questionable. Malik Collins, the defensive tackle, is questionable. Yeah, that's going to be tough to overcome. I mean, we are hoping. I think if you're a Brown fan, you're hoping that, hey, Joe Flacco can air it out still and make some plays happen. Credit to Case Keenum, though. He led that comeback victory against the Titans. If they missed that field goal, there would have been a tie between those two division foes. Oh, man. One thing, though, I hope the crowd shows up and the defense gets some stops. It's almost like a pick'em game. despite the facts. I think a lot of people are going with the Browns. They're one game better than Houston. I want to say the Magic both have like magic going for them, and eventually one is going to run out today for a loss. I think Myles Garrett is going to make an impact play in this game. I want to say, and someone in the secondary for Cleveland. This is a tough one, Chris. I'm going to go with Cleveland just because Houston doesn't have C.J. Stroud. But if they get the running game going, Houston can prove me wrong. But I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland too. But I'm kind of like you. It's kind of back and forth. If Houston loses, they're out of the number one seed conversation. But they can also make the playoffs by just winning out. They're one of those many teams that need to win out.
Mm-hmm.
As for Cleveland, they can get into playoffs by winning today, and they need the Broncos and the Colts to lose. Need a lot of help there. If the Ravens win, but the Browns lose, they're eliminated from clinching the AFC North Division. They can clinch the division by winning 2 out of the next 3 games. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can do it though, maybe against Houston without their quarterback. So we'll go with Cleveland. Starting off your late afternoon window, we kind of talked about earlier. Jacksonville taking on Tampa Bay. Jacksonville will have their starting quarterback. Good, that's good for them. And Big B and Tim both have Jacksonville. James, who do you got?
Man, you can feel like Jacksonville. They're losing their promise of what could be almost. Zay Jones, one of their targets for receivers, he's also questionable. You said Trevor Lawrence will play, right? Tampa Bay, I know their defense has always been banged up. I mean, what was it? Levante David didn't even play last week for some personal reason. But maybe that was the other week. I don't know. But they showed up last week in Green Bay. I mean, they really showed up. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield somehow bought another season of playing, and we'll see where he ends up. But he's looked reasonably good this year, which I don't think we would be saying. Excuse me. So, Mike Evans, you got to go to him. I'll be interested to see how many Tampa Bay fans make their way up. They got to get ETN going if you're Jacksonville, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Tampa Bay. This game is only favored by 1, I think, with Jacksonville. But I think Mike Evans has a couple of touchdowns. That Jacksonville secondary gives up some big plays, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of another toss-up game. I'm going Tampa. Tampa Bay, they don't need. I mean, it'd be nice to win it, but they don't necessarily need to win it.
Mm-mm.
But they have to win next week and the week after to make the playoffs. Jacksonville, they'll be out of the number 1 seed contention if they lose, but they need to win out. It's complicated. Playoffs are complicated sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a fun game. Battle in Florida. We'll see how it goes there. Cardinals and the Bears. Cardinals eliminated. Bears have a playoff chance. And both Big B and Tim have Chicago. Who do you got, James?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chicago. Their defense is really good. They forced a lot of turnovers. Justin Fields looked good last week. He's playing for his job, or auditioning for somewhere else out there. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely go Chicago in this. I think Kyler Murray is gonna be running around a lot or getting drilled in the pocket. The thing is with Chicago, maybe you'll see a lot of running from Justin Fields because Deontay Foreman and Cole Kmet are both questionable. Kmet is a really good tight end. He just hasn't been able to get the ball. So in that case, he's really underrated if he ever gets the ball. He's really good. I know they lost on what would have been a great Hail Mary catch by Mooney, but he had it and lost it in Cleveland. So the Bears, they're fighting. The week before they beat Detroit and Minnesota. So they've been through a kind of a tough schedule. So today I think they get an easy win over the Cardinals. It will be, despite it only being like 50 degrees or something like that. The wind chill factor will be an issue, or 39 degrees, excuse me. It's a game later on today. But the wind chill factor will be there. So I think that favors Chicago. So yeah, I'm going Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to Bears too. So I wonder if whichever team loses, they'll be like they are who they thought they were.
And I don't think the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals want to mess up their pick, honestly.
That's
by
true.
winning.
I saw a crazy draft scenario for Washington that I looked at it, and maybe I'll find it, but it was like, okay, now that's wild, because it was like, if this happens, if that happens, and they could get the first overall pick, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that, but I got Chicago. It should be an easy win, but there's nothing in the NFL that's easy.
Mm-mm.
So we can say that, but is it really easy? I don't know. But I too have Chicago. Dallas and Miami. Big B and Tim have Miami, or Big B and Tim have the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys. Who do you got?
Whew. So Tyreek Hill, I think he's questionable, but he should play today. That was a big deal. Xavier Howard is also questionable, their corner. They've been a little banged up on defense, but the big key, I think, is your offensive line, Chris. Tyron Smith is out, and then Zach Martin's questionable. Up front, Jonathan Hankins, the defensive tackle's out. So that's really a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Miami here. I think they keep it going. They're playing in their weather. I know Dallas though, they like the cold, or they like the regular weather. Thing is, Dallas is 0-7 on the road, I want to say, so they don't really play well on the road. So that's a really unfortunate thing for Dallas. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. I think they also get back to the running game. But Michael Parsons, he's gonna have to get double teamed or triple teamed on that line in order for Tua to make some plays. Hopefully it'll be a closer game. I mean, everybody's hyping this game up. They hyped Dallas and Buffalo up last week, and that ended up being nothing. But hopefully this game leads up to something. So I'm gonna go Miami.
Yeah, I got Dallas. It's weird because Miami doesn't win against good teams, but like you said, Dallas doesn't win on the road. So I got Dallas. Let's see. I think that's it on the late window games. Let me make sure.
Yep.
Oh no, one more. Patriots and the Broncos.
Oh, that's Sunday night.
Oh, kinda. It's on the NFL Network.
It is?
Broncos.
Oh.
Yeah. Big B and Tim have the Broncos. Who do you got?
Definitely going Denver here. the only way they make it a game for the Patriots if their defense gets in there and makes Russell Wilson throw some turnovers. Uh, but man, I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, man, Denver is going to easily win this. But we've also seen Denver, fail sometimes. We'll see if Bailey Zappi can air it out, but I know he's going to be without some weapons today. But I think Denver has a bounce back game. I mean, they were embarrassed last Saturday night, so I think Denver comes back and wins today.
Yeah, I got Denver winning this game too. Patriots are already out. Broncos are holding on by a thread.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going with Denver on this one. I just they're kind of like that Cinderella story. I think. Don't you think?
Kind of, but you don't feel as bad for him because they have Russell Wilson and he's up and down. Uh, you just know it's going to be midnight soon though for him.
Right. Raiders and the Chiefs. Big B has Chiefs. Tim has Raiders. Who do you got?
I got to go with Kansas City, despite them being without Tony and Hartman Jr. I think Mahomes and Kelsey, I think they link up for a couple of touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco will run pretty well. The Raiders, they're without Michael Mayer, Josh Jacobs is also questionable. That's big for the running game. Raiders have had some time off though. After that dismantling of the Chargers last Thursday, or 2 Thursdays ago, I should say. But man, it's a lot of pressure on Aiden O'Connell. He's going to link up with Adams, but one thing I was hearing that Travis Kelce is kind of being held down this year. He has only 5 touchdowns. That's kind of a shock. But I just have to believe in the pedigree of the championship tested Chiefs. I'm gonna go sadly Kansas City. I think Chris is here. We'll see. All right, I guess I'll take over. Yeah, he's on mute. All right. The Giants and Eagles. Now, are you back, Chris? No, he's not. Okay. So
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm here.
there you are. Okay.
I got the Chiefs too. Chiefs can win the AFC West with a win.
Oh
but
yeah.
they're out with a Ravens win as well if they lose of the number one conversation. With a loss, Raiders can be eliminated. So they're kind of on needing to win every game too. So Giants and Eagles. Both Big B and Tim's got Eagles. Who do you got?
Okay, so with the Giants, that Tommy DeVito, lore is kind of losing its lore. You need a good dose of Saquon Barkley today. Maybe even throw for a touchdown. Or I'm sorry, on Christmas, you kind of need him to do some things magically for New York to have a shot in this game. Okay, so there's a lot of problems with Jalen Hurts, and the locker room supposedly is not leading it. And I thought that was not an issue, but it is this year. He's got to get the ball to his main targets, Brown and Swift and others, Dallas Goedert. The running game has to come back for Philadelphia. Also, instead of, like on 3rd and 4th and short or whatever, they've aired it out. They've done the analytical crap where they only need like a yard or two and they throw it, 30 yards downfield. I hate that crap. They need to be better with their play calling. And I think losing their offensive and defensive coordinators have really hurt them this year. Steichen went to the Colts. What's his name? Gannon went to Arizona to be head. They both went to be head coaches, and that's kind of hurt him. And then also, and shout out to this YouTuber, I forget his name, but he's on Homage Sports Apparel. They were talking about the Eagles not using motion like the Eagles do pre-snap. I like the Dolphins do pre-snap, right? Where you put your wide receiver in motion and then you could pass to him because the defense is on the other side. And then also to throw down the middle. That'd be a thing you want to see from Philadelphia on Sunday, or excuse me, on Christmas. So that's something you want to see if you're the Eagles. If you're an Eagle fan, you want the offense to flow better than it's been before. But I expect the Eagles to win this game. Maybe it won't be as easy because of the issues going on, but give me Philadelphia.
I got New York. I feel confident in DeVito. Of course, Cowboy fans need need DeVito to win.
Wow.
So I think that's going to happen.
It
You
could
think
happen.
it could?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ravens at the 49ers. Big B has 49ers. Tim has Ravens. Who do you got?
It's amazing on Christmas. This is the gift that we get is possibly a Super Bowl preview. And Chris, I don't know if you noticed, there's a conspiracy going around that the Super Bowl logo this year has purple and red in it. So people think that this will be the Super Bowl matchup, if you believe in that. I'm definitely go with the 49ers, but it's going to be great to see, the Raven offense, one-sided as it is with Lamar Jackson, but go against a defense like the 49ers. I mean, that's going to be awesome to see. Zay Flowers is questionable. That's pretty big for Baltimore. Hargrove is questionable. So that's really big for up front for the 49ers, but they have replacements for him. Purdy is playing at a MVP level. Don't tell anybody that. Don't tell that one guy that. McCaffrey as well. Ayuk has been really good. George, Kittle, he's kind of been that blocking tight end, but he's been very serviceable. So man, it's gonna have to be a steady dose of Lamar Jackson passing and receiving. That'd be amazing if he did throw to himself and he'll catch the ball down the field. But yeah, I'm gonna go with he's MVP because of that. I know both are 11-3. Both are the best in their conferences. I got to go with San Francisco though. I think they make some plays defensively. They get in there, and yeah, I'm going San Francisco.
Yeah, this game was another toss-up because I don't want the 49ers to do, too much. But I don't know. Ravens can clinch the AFC North with a win and a Browns loss. Niners can clinch the NFC West in the first round bye with Cowboys, Eagles, and Lions losses. I'm going Baltimore. I know I'm a little biased.
Oh yeah, because you need that. Yeah.
But I think Baltimore is probably gonna do a lot of damage to San Francisco. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, the Super Bowl logo prediction thing they showed in the last 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and yeah, it lined up. But when the Chiefs made the Super Bowl against the Rams, I always associated the Chiefs with orange, not really red.
I think when the Rams played the Bengals, it was both yellow or blue and orange.
Yeah.
I think so. That's my alarm. But yeah.
So, I mean, I like the prediction thing with the logo, but
I mean, it's a
it's oh, go
what
ahead.
do you call it? Conspiracy. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm looking at it right now. The letters are red, and then the background is purple. It's right there for anybody.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be interesting to see what happens. That's it for our game picks. I guess you got any final information before we head out?
No, but man, I'm interested to see this Lions game this morning here, and I really want them to clinch that division, and they probably won't get the top spot, unless San Francisco and Dallas, loses, but at least that, and they can
Yeah.
get it anyway, next week. But I think it would be awesome, just to do it now and get it over with, and then maybe have some time to rest, knowing that hey, they can't get the number one spot or whatever. But this hopefully will be the Lions' day. That's what I'm looking forward to, and then the Christmas games, like the ones we went over, all three.
Hmm.
It'll trump the NBA action, I think. For me, at least, I'll be watching football, and thank God football kind of took over uh,
The
basketball on
weekend.
Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool because all you think about Christmas is NBA, but man, I'm very happy for the Christmas games on for tomorrow. So again, happy holidays to everybody. Uh, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. Happy holidays, everybody. Hopefully your teams give you a Christmas present of a victory.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a playoff berth if your
Yeah,
team is
right.
in it. But just to win is it good enough for your team at this point in the season. Of course, any of those special occasions, that you have a win is good. Um, we'll be back next week for the what New New Year's Day, I think it is. This is the last Sunday of 2023.
Yeah, man.
Can you
Time
believe
is
that?
winding down.
It is. So,
Man.
well, I guess we'll see you guys next year. I guess
Oh yeah,
because it'll
that's
be
right.
next year by the time we
Oh
get
God, it's
another
that
show.
time of year where people say that crap at your job or whatever.
I
Oh,
know it's crazy, but yeah. Uh, we'll see you guys next week for another edition of Morning Tailgate. Enjoy your football weekend. Enjoy the holidays. Spend time with family and friends. And we'll see you guys next week.